this week was definitely a week of, I mean, dude, first things first, markets just ripping. We got to see Powell speak on, what was that, Wednesday, that the market responded very well to. I mean, it's always structure. Structure is going to be my main thing I look for, right? Constantly, what sort of structure, what sort of market are we in? And this week, I really want to break down just the week ending in 322. And before, I was just saying this before Discord decided to pull a matrix attack. Risk reward, once again, has been just extremely clear to me and how important it is, right? And I think it's God's really put it on my mind to really constantly drill into it, because risk reward is the only way to get results out of this game. I don't care what game you're playing. If you're in any sort of environment where, opportunities created out of, candlesticks and movement that you can't control, you have to have risk reward, right? And this week was definitely an example of that. There was a couple really good days in there, but then there was a lot of garbage as well. So we're going to get right into this. So Monday, let me see here. Let me whip out my journal real quick. Okay, so Monday was actually not so Monday I took 2 losing trades, and once again, risk reward is everything, right? Market kind of ripped up. Hold on. Let me just get this going real quick. Monday, right here. So yeah, this was actually so check this out. This was one of those days where the move I was looking for happened in pre-market, right? So you're going to see over here, we got previous day low down here at 50845, which was a pretty strong demand zone, right? We came into this the previous Friday, right? And what I was looking for here was acceptance above this 512 level, which this 512 level actually played a very important role on the next day, right? So the way I'm setting this up, right, is I got previous day low, end of days obviously way down here, and previous day high, which was right here, 513.5, right? So we have bearish structure here, right? We've coming down, coming up for this retest. We just sold below it. This was Friday, right? So now Monday morning, we're now ripping into bearish structure, pre-market, right? So, okay, buyers are invalidating bearish market conditions. I like seeing that in a bullish sense. And then I got my eye on this 414.46 level, right? So you could see it was respected right there in the morning. And then any acceptance above this level, I'm necessarily looking for a move up to 516. And then all-time high, which was 518.18, right? So that's kind of like my analysis going into it. And obviously anything below 512, I like short. So the market opens, right? We rip right into that 514.50 level, right, where we get met with some sellers. I got my eye on pre-market high right here. Let me see what trade. Yes. Okay. So I'm looking for buyers to continue to hold structure, right? That's how I measure the strength of the move, the trend, the conditions. Above this gray line or this gray box, I'm pretty bullish, but we still have a rather large gap fill. So I'm patient right here. I'm really not doing anything. I like how open print and pre-market high really held. I was not in front of my computer at this part, right? I was getting my daughter up. Listen to me trying to make an excuse, bro. That's wild. So anyways, price comes into pre-market high, which is coupled with OP. Sellers try. And look at this green candle next to it. This candle tells me so much, bro. Like, because right here, this looks rather bearish. I mean, we're selling off below pre-market. Hold on. Like, that looks really bearish right there. And then the next candle.
Hey, that's almost that little okie doke.
Yeah. The next candle, pop, right? So once we popped above it, this candle right here, I love these candles. I think Todd calls these the bear 180. See, this right here is bearish. Ain't that right, Todd? I might have him on mute. But yeah, that's the bear 180, right? Where it's bearish, it's selling below, pop, right above it, closes on the 9, comes down for a nice retest there, off pre-market high. That would have been the good move, right? I mean, still a really close target at the highs. Don't know if I would have taken it. But I just want to highlight this candle and how it shifted the entire story within 5 minutes. You know what I mean? I really, these are the moments I look for every day. And then she rips up. Once again, I couldn't really find a move at that point. My target was up there. I couldn't get a really nice retest off for 514, 5.6. Price comes down to open print. And I take her long right here. Right? So at this point, I'm going, okay, we're holding above pre-market high. We're holding above OP. I wasn't able to really get a good move. Sellers are clearly, they're forming structure, which I failed to really watch. I mean, check it. They're starting to form structure, which I was aware of. And this candle kind of ripped up and broke the highs above this. So in my mind, I'm going, okay, this with open print, this with pre-market high. I'm willing to bet on a retest for a long, targeting pre-market high and then the high of day. So we come down for the retest. We close above the 9. I mean, this is my criteria. Open print, structure, chart pattern, rips up, bam, rips down, gets me. I was so proud of this trade. I didn't even care. Bro, this is literally, that's my edge. I trade it all the time. Could I have done things different? Right? Like, could I have done
exactly when conditions change?
Yeah. Right? I'm like, dude, this is what I wait for every day. I don't care. I was super proud of like my ability not to chase this when I missed it, because whatever the reason, I was super proud. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, it's completely fine. Took the L. Only thing I'm not, it's fine. You know what I mean? I kept my stop intact. I could have maybe stomped out a bit earlier on this candle. I stopped out right around here for 30%, right? So it's really not the worst move. So I was pumped. And then I got, so then check this out. So, okay, took the L, brush it off. And then price comes into this 513 level, comes back up to open print. Market looks something like this. So I'm like, okay. Open print, once again, is the battle. Buyers tried. Sellers could not get price below 513.5. Couldn't really hold below it. So we rip into open print. I get this green candle, and then the market comes down, sucks up, closes above the 9. Once again, I'm like, dude, we got some structure. We got open print, got the 9. I'm going to put on a long. She ripped up. And believe it or not, this is about a 40-cent move on SPX. This is around like 30 to 45% ROI just on this candle. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of let my loss from the earlier trade push me to not take profits up here. I mean, I don't know if I would have regardless. I did like the way this was looking. Like, this candle was completely green. We were going for it, and then it kind of sucked back. And then I ended up stomping out here for really close to like usually I take around a $250 loss on the premium. This trade, I only took a $130 loss. So I was actually really, once again, like me and Novak were just talking about this too. You don't need, and I know we have too before, Darren, we don't need to stomp out only at our max risk. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's kind of why I've gravitated towards trades like this, because, my risk is extremely tight on these trades.
Absolutely. I think if you're staying in the present moment, then you probably will stop out before your stop loss.
Right.
Or
right.
You probably will feel the need to exit your position and not let it go all the way to your stop loss because you really understand what the market's doing at that.
Right. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's it, dude. I really wouldn't have traded. I mean, you know, once again, you could always do things better. These ones hurt a little bit, bro. I'm not gonna lie. This long hurt, and I'm like, good.
Oh, late in the day, that goes quick.
Yeah, I'm like, good. He said that goes quick. It's so true. Like you go from being up, you know, 50%. You know, you literally go, you know, you're up 300 on the premium to down 130 in a second, right? And dude,
Oh, yeah.
and that's it though. That's the game. That's fine. I'm like, dude, so what? So be it. I used to let days like this crush me. I used to go long here, go long here, go long here. Keep trying to be right. Keep trying to be right. Keep trying, and it just smoked me. Instead, I'm like, you know, okay, took 2 hours. That was it.
Real quick, can you go to the 1 hour time frame on this day?
Yeah.
Because that really helped me on this Monday. So
yeah.
Yes. So you see back on I want to say Thursday there, the next day, one day after.
Yeah.
Well, you see where Monday came up? No. Right there. You see where there's a high
here
that Monday
yes.
came up to.
Yes.
So I had a zone drawn. Oh yes, from right there, from 5:15.13 to 5:15.60.
Yeah.
Bam, right there.
Yep.
And that's what I was waiting for price to come into, so I missed a long off open print, I want to say, and I did not see enough room to the upside to take that long.
Yeah.
So I decided to wait to see what would happen at that supply zone and if we got sellers.
Yeah.
And when I saw sellers coming in, that's when I took the market short, and I traded one full position, and then I actually added a half size position on another short later in the day, and also printed on that one as well.
Yeah.
But honestly, the main reason I took this was off of that hourly time frame. I saw that we had resistance on Thursday, and obviously Friday we were well below it, and so I was expecting to see some kind of sellers in that zone when we came back to it.
And look at the extension there on the 9 on the 1 hour.
Oh yeah, actually that's another thing that I was watching.
Super extended. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful short play. Look at it, right off structure.
I'll be honest, yeah. So this is how I try to come up with these scenarios off the larger time frames, and this was one that I actually did really well. On the rest of the week, I had real trouble, getting this story from larger time frames.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was because of news and how the market reacted to Powell's speech.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It really felt like a lot of, market participants didn't know how the market was going to respond, and then it kind of just started to rip around.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my Monday.
That's really, that was clutch right there. Right in the supply. Look at that. The lower high, everything. Bam. Comes down. Bro, the next day, right? Look at this, dude. I just went over this with Novak, and this day was like flawless for pit numbers, bro. Look at this. Ready? So we have end of day. We have previous day high. Right? And then we got this little level of demand, which wasn't significant from anywhere else other than here. So I'm going to whip out the 15 real quick. So basically, the way I do this, right? The critical levels are your targets, they're your magnets, they're your understanding, right? Right? It literally breaks it down to a much simpler aspect for me. I mean, look at the structure on this, dude. Sellers were in control, right? So this is how I do this every day, right? So we have a seller up here, right? He's got some strength, right? Clearly he was coming back from last Thursday. Okay. And then price comes down, right? We then sell off. We break this level. We come in into selling off. And then we sell off right to demand, right? So the way I like to do this, right, is then I go, okay, I want to see these sellers continue to hold structure. If they don't, what does that mean, right? Because price is going to keep selling off until the buying pressure exceeds the selling pressure. Until demand exceeds supply, this thing's going to keep going down. How can we know? How can we see that earlier? and it's all through structure. So price comes into demand, and then we create this little consolidation, and we get this little pop, right? So once, and it's crazy because, you got this nice sized trend, then you get consolidation, you get another nice size move down. Now you get consolidation, and we pop above it. I'm like, okay, this is my first sign of some sort of buying strength. This doesn't necessarily mean go long. It just means buyers have showed up to defend a level. Let's see how it goes, right? So first level we come into is this 512 level, right? Which was my bearish target from the day before. Now, what's really cool is how price reacts here. So anytime we get a little break of structure here, I'm going to avoid a short play off this level, right? Because buyers showed some sort of break of structure. They showed a bit of strength with popping above 511.13, right? So we come into 512, and you can see that pre-market level gets defended once, twice, and then we pop above it, and now we're above open print. So, I mean, we talk about it every week, and it's just a testimony to how our strategy works in it's timeless. Like a lot of people used to be, this strategy works now. Will it work in another 5 years? Right. And that's why I love our approach being more like philosophical, right? It's more of a way of thinking instead of a strategy, because it's just having a general understanding of who's in control of the market, right? So like when you get price ripping above open print here, right? This right here is now invalidating this nice bearish structure. So this is how I kind of gauge my decision-making process for like, okay, now I want to start looking long, right? So price rips right above, what I do? Okay, comes up to open print. I take the market long on open print. I loved this trade because my risk was going to be right below this pre-market level, right? So anytime you got, a really nice spot to go, hey, if sellers defend this, price is going to have to come below 511.83. If price falls below 511.83, my analysis is wrong. 511.83 is 30 cents away from my entry. Bam, high quality setup. Like I used to get it confused and be like, oh, a high quality setup's a perfect chart pattern. Absolutely not. A high quality setup is low risk, high reward. You know what I mean? Like end of day was about, 70 cents away. That's a great move on SPX. So I'm like, super, that's what I try to look for. So I caught a really nice move up into pre-market high, which printed very well. I really like this trade and my ability to really to execute the exit, right? Because it happened very quickly. And once again, the gap here between price and the 9 was very high. Like, look at these candles right here. I'll hold. Like, this is a good example right here. Notice price selling off over here on the left-hand side, but notice how it's hugging the 9. See, this is a trade I'll probably hold through. This right here is not really something I want to hold through. I mean, we are about 75 cents away from the 9 DEMA, right? And a pullback happens 9 times out of 10. What me and Novak were talking about was, is it worth it? You have to be able to ask yourself in the present, is it worth it to hold or should I book it, right? Like, we kind of go through the stage as traders. We're like, oh, I just book it because we're at 20%. And then we go through the stage of, oh, no, I hold until, this. What I found, right, is you have to be able to be in that moment and go, listen, is this worth it to hold? Does it make sense? If I'm and the way I do that is through the moving average. I go, if I'm extended from that 9, right? Even I think I took profits like right here at 5. Like I didn't even take it at the perfect spot. I took it at like 513.20, right? I mean, I caught a really almost $1 move on SPX. I don't need to be excessive here, right? And I think that's a really important part of trading, right? Because it's not, I don't want to sit here and tell you guys, oh, take profits immediately. But at the same time, I don't want you guys holding and giving back a lot of money, right? Because that comes off the top. So it's like we talked about taking profits yesterday in the live. Using that moving average has been a game changer for me, like complete game changer for me, right? And like a big part of that is I have the capital to re-enter. I could, there's a lot of variables there, which I ended up doing. I ended up getting back in this on this candle, right? When we started to rip up, I put a long in with my stop below the candle and got another really nice move all the way up to like 5. Once again, I took profits like right here, just capitalizing on buyers defending the critical levels, right? So, I mean, everyone does it differently. Everyone books profits differently. Everyone does things differently. But that 9 has been a game changer for me.
So that's the 9 on the 15, right?
Yeah.
I'm just looking at.
Yeah. The 9.
Just looking at
the 9 on the 5.
Just to see what's happening there.
So just yeah. So I took profits right here. Once we ripped above end of day, right? You can see we're still very extended. And then on this trade, I mean, not extremely extended, but still 50 cents, right? So, yeah, good.
I forgot that it was that clean off end of day.
Oh, bro, it was butter.
That's a beautiful play. Yeah.
I mean, look at it off open print.
Yeah, that too.
And what's crazy is I my first initial trade was on this candle. It ripped up. I scaled one out up here, and then it came down and stopped me out here. And then I had to re-enter this trade right here.
Oh, I remember.
Yes. Then I re-entered this trade right here, and we caught this pop, booked it right here. And then the same exact setup right here off OP happens right here. Look at that.
I love it.
Yeah, it was really good. This was a really good day for me. I felt really like, I understood the structure. I had a really good understanding of the story. And in the pre-market plan, that 512 was going to be like my critical level where like I had, if buyers held it, I wanted to trade with them. And that's exactly what I meant to do. And it was just a really good day. I really enjoyed it. I didn't capture as much of this move as I really wanted to. But at the same time, I was able to lock in a really nice profit. And I just love to see how dude, it literally went right to previous day high. It's disgusting.
That's wild.
Yeah. Just, once again, the market auction and how it works it's insane, man.
Yeah, another thing to note on this day is like the break and retests off of these levels, they never look the same. Like sometimes you'll have where it goes way above end of day and then it slowly trickles down and rejects. And in a scenario like what happened on this day is, we kind of got a higher low off of the end of day. But this is why we need all the different tools in our book to recognize, when buyers are strong at a critical level.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could have done a better job of being objective on this day, and I feel like I was waiting for like a specific setup, and if I didn't see it, then I didn't want to take it.
Yeah.
And in a way that can be good, but also you have to realize that there's multiple different ways that buyers can take control at a different level, or at a critical level. And be willing to capitalize on that, even if it doesn't look, exactly
the way you
like
want.
What you have in your mind.
I really respect you saying that, because that happened to me Friday, right? Like in the morning, right? Like we get this thing in our head, and it comes through with a lot of knowledge, I think, right? Like when you really get a lot of knowledge about the market, you could tend to get specific, and it's crazy to think, right? Like what really stuck out to me was, look at these green candles after the red ones, right? So me, I'm constantly looking for, in this scenario, the seller to lose. So you take the market long here, right? Which I ended up getting back in this trade on this green candle, right? So the market looked like this, and I go long, right? And I remember I'm like, dude, this looks so pretty. Look at the next red candle. It literally almost took out every person that longed. Oh, hold on. Got right here. Look at this red candle, dude. sucked up almost
exactly the same as the one you were just showing.
Yeah. So, and once again, what looks so damn bullish. I mean, look at this, bro. This looks perfect. One candle away, super red. And this is where that acceptance comes in big time. Because you got to think, I'm in this at like 513.15, right?
You're not in
no,
today.
yeah, I'm not getting in here perfectly because I haven't seen buyers take it yet. We close above the 9. I get in at 513.20. This pullback is literally costing me about $180 per premium. My stop out's 220 on this one. You know what I mean? Like, so full acceptance here. Like, it is what it is. And that's the stuff we don't always talk about. It's like, you got to enter this completely aware of the fact that whatever your stop is probably gone. You're gonna get hit. I don't care how perfect it looks. And then, but this is the thing that's helped me is once this red candle gets eaten by this one, now I'm like, oh, okay, sellers just lost. Right now, these are the candles I love to enter on. Right, you can see like this one right here. This was my re-entry on longs here, and that's why. Because sellers came in and then buyers killed them. Boom. Right. And then, it's a sign of strength, right? It's a sign of, hey, sellers tried, couldn't get it. And the same thing happened here. It's like sellers came in, buyers killed them. Boom. So these 3 candles tell me a lot right here. But, yeah, it was really cool seeing it rip all the way up the previous day high like that. I love days like this. And once again, days like this make up for the days in front of it. So just understanding that risk reward is so important. Bro, just getting away from that, like I need to be green every day. You know what I mean? This week really, really helped me see that. I was red 2 days this week, and and I still came out on top, and that's the whole part of trading. I think that's why I've been going so hard on risk reward for the last like 2 months, because it's become so clear to me that that's the goal. The goal is literally to trade with proper risk. And we always talk about risk management, but not reward management, right? Like we have to be able to reward ourselves, right, on trades and not just take them, you know what I'm saying, and understand the conditions of them, right? And maybe that's another day or another topic, but this next day was I actually had two really good trades this day, but the price action was trash. It was super slow. FOMC price action was extremely slow, which led me to trade SPY, right? So I traded SPY this day in the money contracts on I took a short play. Hold on. Yes. So I took a short play. So when price came up, okay, so we got previous day high, we got end of day. End of day and open print were pretty close, which I always love to see. Market kind of opened up. My edge did not present itself. Buyers came in. I wanted to long above previous day high, but I couldn't get a nice retest or any structure. So I didn't take anything. Price came down, battled open print, end of day. Looking back, there's a nice little move to the upside here that I missed, but just really low volume this day. And then I finally put on a short right here at 516.09. This was actually a failed attempt at pre-market high, right? So price rips up, comes here. Once this red candle happens, right, where we close below the 9, I'm now looking for a short play, right? So now price falls down, comes up. I take the market short on this candle, right, when we couldn't get above 516. I bought the 516 puts for like $180, and I literally am just in this. I don't know if from trading SPX now, like I went like lower size on this. So like I really had no anxiety whatsoever, which, I mean, we always talk about it. If you're ever having anxiety, just lower size. Like it really helps. But yeah, I'm just sitting in this. Price came down. My target was the lows. I kept saying in the Discord, targeting the lows. And price came down. And what I want to point out here, though, is look at how every extension got 8 up. Extension here, 8 up. Extension here, 8 up. And then price came down. Didn't hit my profit. Keeps going up. I hold through all of this. And this is the thing about FOMC. I don't know if anyone else traded before Powell, but your like time decay doesn't really apply. Like if you, well, let me rephrase. If I was in the money on this trade, right? Like I told you, I bought my contracts for $188, I think. And when price came all the way back up here, I don't know if you ever noticed this, Darren, but my contracts were worth the same as they were right here, right? I think it has something.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the volume or implied volatility or whatever it is. Like contracts on SPX this day were worth double. Everything was worth double.
Yeah.
So
I would guess that as you get closer and closer to the news,
yeah,
premiums are just rising in general.
You actually make money. Yes,
decay.
Bro.
Yeah.
So and that I think that's exactly what it is. As you get closer, premiums rise and it negates time decay. You're 100% right. Because I was actually, when I entered this trade right here, I was actually still up like 10% right here. Once again, due to the implied volatility. Then I caught a really nice move all the way down and actually got out of this trade down here. It's crazy how trading lower size really, helped me sit through that with no worries.
I saw the low volume this day, and I actually stayed away from the market this entire day. But one thing that I did notice that was kind of cool was on higher time frames, I had a zone. Well, not even higher time frames. It was just a zone from the previous day, like supply from the previous day. I mean, we held that.
Yeah, the whole time. Yeah.
Through FOMC, we did not break below it. So technically, whenever buyers were there, previous day, they defended themselves again. And I mean, yeah, you have a risk of being stopped out in FOMC if you're trying to go long, but I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
It never really broke below that.
No, it didn't. It didn't, bro. And then when Powell came out, dude, it was actually I caught a very quick move off the high of day retest. Happened very fast. I wasn't able to really relate it to in the Discord because the volume on this is crazy. But you can see high of day, right? Check this out. And just using we rip way above into all-time high, right? We come down, and once again, extended from the 9, pulls back to the 9, right? So say you're in this long, if you don't take profits up here, you're just arrogant to the 9, right? Use the 9. Then we close below the 9 on this red candle. So I'm like, okay, let's see how price reacts to high of day. Buyers come in. I took this long. I actually had a relatively good entry on this, right? With my stop below this candle and caught a really nice move all the way up to 518 or 517. It was super fast move. The 2-minute shows it probably a bit better, even though I didn't even trade. Yeah, so if we were looking at the 2-minute, I went long on this candle with my stop below this one and caught a nice move up. And once again, extended from the 9, booked my profit. And then this thing started to just roar. So it's the first time in history Powell didn't sink the market.
Yeah, man. It's just I don't really play these days, but sometimes when it looks as clean as this off that demand, I'm just like, should I have?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
break and retest. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was flawless, bro. And once again, though, look at this red candle getting eaten alive. and that's like, and every trader is different. Every trader has what works for them. But for, the way I look at it is if an opportunity is presenting itself and I have an understanding of it and I can manage risk, I go for it. I've actually learned to like, wild volatility, right? And but that's kind of my environment, right? I'm actually a really quick trader, right? Like I don't hold like I used to. You know what I mean? I'm not, I'm more get in, get out with my risk reward in touch and just keep repeating, right? So yeah, I put on a long there, caught it, got out, really good spot. I really like how sellers took price down, closed below it, and look at how it just defended end of day to a T. It's just, I just love seeing the auction like that, dude. Look at perfect wick in and just pops right back, holding the 9 and just rallies. So, yeah, that was wild.
That's really nice.
Which led to Thursday. Thursday, I took 2 losses. Yeah, if it wasn't for these 2 days and Friday, I would have had a red week, and that's the thing, dude. Like, it's not every blackjack hand's a blackjack. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, sometimes you're gonna get smoked. You're gonna get smoked. It's just it's what you could learn from getting smoked. That's the game. Let me see here. So Thursday was tough. I mean, bro, I used QQQ on this day to try to gauge price. QQQ was coming into all-time highs. You know what I mean? I took a long.
I made all-time high.
Yeah, I took a long off all-time high, and I didn't take profit when I should have. I don't know. Maybe I did what was right. I guess it really doesn't matter. I was really hyped on maybe a breakout, and I seen this I seen this manifest off all-time high. I mean, look at this. It was my edge entirely. I right here, long the market, stop below. We ripped into the highs, and sellers defending it. Boom, got stomped out on this candle, very close to my entry. This red one, this candle, I got stomped out on. So I could have moved that below, but that was all I was really willing to pay on it. So that was a L right there. Let me see what I do. SPY. Oh yes, boy. Yeah, it was a bit.
Premarket high was strong on SPY.
Yeah.
Today. I was really watching for a play off of that pre-market high level, and I went short after we failed to hold it the third time right there.
Yeah.
I went short there, and it was just not a lot of continuation. Obviously, I did take profits, some profits, but nowhere near what I was going for.
That's a really good catch though, bro. Like this day was not easy. Looking back, it looks like, oh yeah, of course. Bro, this was an easy day to trade. Like it really wasn't. I mean, look, it's no one was like open print was not being defended. It was just all over the place. Pre-market high, right, was very strong. Just like you said, we got above it, couldn't hold. Open print, get below it, can't hold. Buyers take it, rip into it. Dude, it was all over the place. That's a good move right there. Is that where you took it right there, Darren? 5-2-3-8?
Not on the second time, on the first time.
Right here.
Earlier.
Right here.
Yeah, right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then it turned around on me pretty quick. It really only hit my first TP, and then ended up being a red trade.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that extension on the 9. See, that's another thing, right? Like one thing, because I've been thinking, right? Like, so what causes extensions, what doesn't, right? And now I don't know how well I'll do trying to explain what's in my head right now, but when price is consolidating at a higher price value, right? Like when we get some selling, will it follow through? Will it not? I don't know, right? Like, I guess that's kind of what determines the extension or not, right? Because it's doing the average price, right? So I don't know. But that's a really good trade right there, bro. I mean, buyers failed, took her short. Yeah, this day was rough.
Yeah, because ultimately I was targeting the demand zone from the pre-market level at 522, somewhere around 522.20.
Yeah.
Yeah, right there. That's. I was pretty damn sure we're gonna get down there, and I just had, I guess, right analysis, wrong timing.
Yeah.
Frustrating, and then I never caught the trade later in the day.
Yeah.
Just because it didn't make sense to me. But that was a trend line break.
Yeah.
That was a trend line break with a retest.
Yes.
It was actually really nice, and I think you had it also drawn.
Yeah. Right there. Look at that. That's actually perfect. Look at that. Break.
Yeah.
And I was so focused on longs. I'm like, oh, look, buyers are holding. And this is why, the bias thinking so important. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been using the inverted chart a lot. It helps me out a lot. I mean, but yeah. Sometimes we get stuff in our head, and that's the power of risk management. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna make an educated decision. It's gonna be wrong. Yeah, look at it on the inverted chart, bro. That looks flawless. Break.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Boom. This candle right here.
To anyone who took that.
Yeah.
Great trade.
Yeah. Boom. Rip right into pre-market level. Flawless.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was Thursday. I stepped away from the market. It just once again, if it's not there, if I'm not seeing it right, I just don't play it.
What was funny to me on this is normally after these FOMC days, we see
rallies.
Pretty good moves.
Yeah.
Just because there's added volume, and I was really confused about all the chop and why we weren't seeing continuation.
Yeah.
And after the 1L, I just stepped away because it just it just wasn't making sense to me for what I normally see after FOMC days.
Yeah, I 100% agree. A massive gap up, so like obviously I want to play the gap down, but like it's like buyers wouldn't let go. And then it happens right at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, then of course at the end of the day it goes down to your target. Yeah.
It's what
as it does.
Yeah. And then Friday. Let's go. All right, so Friday. So that 520.60 level. That level right there was a beautiful. It was just, I mean, nothing fancy, just a level from the FOMC day. Honestly, it was end of day from that day, I think. Let me see.
Yeah. High of day.
Yeah, the high of day.
So Wednesday high from the daily time frame.
So it would have been a beautiful gap fill on the way down. Darren did a great job here on live, going short here at open print. So once again, right, like higher time frame analysis is the key to day trading, if you ask me. Like just understanding, okay, we have a level of significance here that was defended on Thursday. Let's see if it's defended today and who can defend it, right? So we snap it in pre-market, snap. Now we're coming up for a retest, right? We get a really nice initial retest there. Sellers come in. And then we come back into it a second time. Darren, I actually got a couple questions for you because I really loved your entry on this. I loved it. I loved your conviction here. When did you find, how do I say this? At what point were you like, okay, I like shorts here? Was it the lower high? Was it kind of all of it? Break it down.
So I got in on the 10-10 candle, and I did not wait for that candle to close.
Right.
But the reason I didn't is because I saw this the candle before it basically out of that zone from the previous day, and the fact that we were making a lower high.
Yes.
Now, after I entered on my short, then we did close below the 9, which gave me added confidence. But we had not actually closed that candle below the 9, so you could say that it was slightly premature. But the other reason that I did it was because when I entered, it put my stop loss at the high of the 10:05 candle.
Right.
And that risk made a lot of sense to me. It was above open print. In case we came back to retest open print a second time, my stop loss was going to protect me there.
Yeah.
And it just felt like the right place to put my stop loss, and that's why I entered where I did. If I had waited till we closed the entire candle, my stop loss would have been in a horrible place, and I probably would have gotten stopped out, honestly.
Yes. That's why I loved your entry on this, bro. And what I love about it most is you made this play based more off risk management, right? Like, you're like, okay, our buyers, market looks like this. You waited for this candle to close, right? Which is perfect, because what you're seeing here is that is the lower high, right? You get the lower high, candle closes. Because in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe buyers got this, right? That we had this higher low right here. I was still like, I wasn't convinced yet, right? And then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna just enter this because buyers really aren't showing strength, and I have good risk, bro. That right there is the mentality we need every single day. That right there is like, I loved it, bro.
Yeah, and look, there's some things that you can't always wait for every 5-minute candle to close. You can't, otherwise you're never going to take a trade.
Yes, that's so true.
So yeah, there was just enough things that were correct in the trade that and that my risk was in the correct place that I put on the trade. My only thing that I could have done different, and I have to think about how I do this a little bit more, but I have bracket orders. So I have my first contract's automatically scaling at my 1-to-1 risk reward, and I hit at pre-market low. And then we went down to 521, I believe, and that was like cents away from my
second,
my 1 to 2.
Yeah.
And my second take profit. And when you have a bracket order and you're trading multiple contracts, there's no way to just take that. You have to wait until it hits your limit.
Yeah.
Your limit buy.
Yeah.
Your limit sell. Sorry. And so there's no way that you can just hit market and suddenly take a market.
Yeah.
It's limit. So you'd have to delete it. You'd have to delete
everything.
You'd have to delete everything in order to put a market on.
Yeah.
And that really frustrated me.
Yeah.
Because if we're hanging out 1 cent away from my take profit, I'm just taking it. There's no reason to just wait around to get another cent.
Right.
So part of me really, really wanted to take it, but I just didn't have a strategy in place to, instantly put in a market order.
Right.
And I got to think about how I do that in the future.
Yeah.
I may just once we get past my 1-to-1, I may just take off my stop loss for the entire position.
Yeah.
So I can then just mark it out, 2 contracts, 3 contracts, all of them if the setup,
invalidates
me.
Yeah. 100%.
So I have to think of a way that I can do that, so I can, allow myself to take profits. Because another thing this week was, recognizing when the market has more to offer and recognizing when the market is kind of dicking around, and you should just take what it's giving you in the moment.
Yes.
Because it's always different every single time.
Every day.
And this is just something that I need to work on. Yeah.
Really good self-actualization there, bro. Really good, because you're 100% right. Like, obviously that bracket order approach is awesome, and it makes, complete sense. But just like you said, it's the game we're playing is formless. You know what I mean? Therefore, we can't create form and expect it to always fit every hand, right? So the glove's not going to always fit.
Well said.
So, that's huge, bro. That's a big breakthrough right there, like a revelation, big time, because now you could adapt even better. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, and I can still do my profit taking.
Yes.
Thing, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I can still take 2 contracts at 1-to-1. I can still take 3 at 1-to-2.
Yep.
It's just I have to take the responsibility onto myself to do that, as opposed to giving the responsibility to these little limit orders, which are sitting on my option contract.
And I think mentally you've earned that. Like you're there. You know what I mean? I think mentally, like you will have no problem executing that manually.
Well, I've proved to myself why I need to take profits at 1-to-1 and
1-to-2. There you go.
I know that, and I've proved myself that. And now I just need to prove to myself that I can recognize when the market is going to give me more, or when it's kind of, giving me all that it's going to give in that moment. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be right 100% of the time.
Right.
I'm sure I'm going to get bit doing this strategy, but will it shift the probabilities more in my favor?
For profitability.
And I'm going to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what this game's all about, dude. Like, it's crazy. Like, it doesn't matter what he does, doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter what anyone does. What matters is your confidence doing what you do. And what I really like what you said there is you've proved to yourself, how'd you say it? The 1-to-1, you've basically proved to yourself, you proved out risk management, risk reward, why you need it. And now it's easy to take, or not, my bad, I'm not going to say easy, but now you're mentally capable to manually exit a trade when you're supposed to, because you've energized the correct belief, basically.
Right. Yes, there's tons of beliefs that need to be energized in this game, And the one that I feel like I successfully energized is why I need to take profits at 1-to-2 and 1-to-1 and 1-to-2 in order for my strategy to work.
Yes.
So that's no longer a question in my mind.
Yeah.
That much I know.
Right.
And so now I'm just slowly building one thing after the next. Now I got to work on the next thing.
One at a time. Yes, dude. I love that you say that, because that's literally been my whole morning routine now, is like that self-actualization and reflection, right? Like when I have an issue, like I've done something new too with my journal, and every week. So every week I find one main issue, one, not 5, not 6, right? One. What is the biggest issue I have this week? And I hammer it in the morning, one, and focus on it. And then what you'll realize when doing that, see, if I'm focused on 10 different issues, 10 things don't get fixed. If I'm focused on one issue, whether it be entry, exit, profit taking, whatever, I don't care if your main issue is just consistency. Just focus on one issue, right? The more issues you have, the less chances you have of fixing it. Focus on one issue, one problem that's keeping you from the results you want. And really good job, bro. Yeah, identifying something you can do better, bro. Flawless. Well done. Really well done. I ended up putting on 2 trades here. I took first trade I'm not exactly happy with. Once we got off the live, once my daughter got up, I ended up taking the market long out of this zone. I don't like it. I took it long on this candle before it closed. And I got stomped out on this trade, right? Boom. Didn't let that pull me out of, like, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, took the L. And then I ended up catching a beautiful move here. Where was it? So where was it? Basically, we have end of day, which was my target. It looks way different on SPX. There it is right here. So I got a really nice move here off this structure point. Took the market long on this candle. Once this candle closed, I took the market long on this candle when I stopped below structure. So basically what I was doing, I was watching this channel form over the last 2 days, and I was just had my eye on structure, what I needed to see, right? So my first initial one was right here. Like I told you guys, I really liked how this inverse head and shoulders was starting to form, but this seller would not let it go, causing me to stop out, right? And then once price came down, made that classic double bottom here. I actually I took 2 trades on and from here to here. But price came down, comes into the double bottom. Check out the extension on the 9 here. So this is something I've been really focused on lately. When price comes into a demand zone or a supply zone, ask yourself, how are you coming into it? If you're ripping into it, but you're super extended from the 9, ask yourself, does this make sense for a reversal? You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm very extended from the 9 and we're ripping into the lows, does it make sense for a reversal? If so, what do I need to see? Right? So it's like price sold off right into this. We came above 523529, right? Rips right into the top, get a nice little retest right here. Got a really nice move from here and caught this trade all the way up to here. This trade, this was a really good trade for me. And what I really liked about this trade is I usually, right, like anytime I come off a loss, I find myself on my next trade taking profits a bit early to make up to just to get right for the day. And on this trade, I was really able to hold. I mean, the price action was really nice. Like, I'm not gonna lie, holding here into end of day, into open print was I'm you get, oh, are sellers gonna come in? Are they not? Right. And like SPX is a bit funny because right here at the top of this candle, I'm at like a 1 to 2, I'm almost next to my 1 to 3 reward. I mean, I'm up like 65% right here. In this pullback, now I'm only up like 20, right? So I'm at a point where I was like, dude, I'm completely fine with if this pulls back and hits. I don't care. I was like, I'm willing to bet my profits here to see if we go higher. Right. And that's been, a bit of a struggle for me moving over to SPX because it's like, oh, if I'm at 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, I'm taking it. And like, I felt like I had a really good understanding of the conditions here. And I was like, dude, we broke out of this trend, bullish structures forming. Let's at least go to the highs. Right. So I had the highs right here. And you could see, took the market long right in the end of day, decided to hold. And then on this green candle, I was like, okay, it was worth it, right? Because once sellers come in and try, but buyers come in and break through them, at that point, I was really confident we were going to get a nice boost up, and that's exactly what we got. So this was a really nice way to end the week for me. I felt like I de-energized a bad belief, right, with profit taking on this trade.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. You see yourself. You see your old self would do one thing, and you don't
do something else.
That behavior.
Yeah, it was big, dude. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I do well at a 1 to 1 risk reward, it maybe 1 to 2, right? My hit rate's good enough where I do well with that. So like in a scenario like this, I'm going, okay, right here, I've made back the money I just lost with like a couple extra, maybe an extra 150. And I'm like, but the conditions aren't telling me to sell. I'm like, I mean, there was a lot of things going through my head. I'm going, we could get a pullback. We could get consolidation. Are you willing to hold through that? I bought in the money contract, so I wasn't that worried about that. But it is, it's 12:30. It's 1:30. So this pullback cost me almost all my profits. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to accept this completely. Like, it is what it is. These conditions are bullish. We got the breakout. The larger time frame was really telling me. The 15 looked good to me. It was hugging the 9 right here. Right, this is what I like to see. And so I decided to hold, and it was crazy, Darren, because I made that decision in my mind where I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something different today. Like, I was aware of it.
Yep.
And I was like, I'm not going to do what I always do. Even though, like I told you, the 1 to 1 it's working. I was like, no, I'm going to do something different right now. And it felt really good because then it happened. And I was really proud of myself right here. This was a big breakthrough for me. And that's what it's
energized the belief of what it feels like to accept the risk of the trade.
Yeah. Like
it's like we want to be patient the whole time.
Yeah.
We have to like, what does it feel like to be patient? You know,
Right?
It never feels like you're being patient when you're being patient.
No.
You just really want something to happen, and you have to sit back and be like, okay, I guess this is what it feels like to be patient.
Yeah.
Now you know what it feels like to accept the risk of a trade.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep energizing that belief, you'll be able to live in that state of mind and act from that state of mind.
Yeah.
Much easier now.
Yeah. It's the 4-minute mile, and it's like.
Yep.
And
exactly.
It's funny because risk could be your profits. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you could be up, you could be at your take profit, right? And be like, no, I'm going to accept the risk of giving that back, right? Doesn't matter. I think this is doing this. Do I need this green trade to sustain profitability? No. So let's see how it goes. So yeah, it was a really good one right there. I was pumped. It was a good way to kind of, cap the week and so on, right? So yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you everyone for coming. This is a tough week, right? But going into the next week, you heard me and Darren sit here and talk about what we're going through, our struggles, and things we're trying to improve on. I encourage everybody to do the exact same. Figure out one issue that you want to make better. Don't go into this week trying to beat 8 things. I want perfect entries, perfect exits. I want to hold my trade super long. No, find one, and just dominate that issue, and build that belief, right? So,
right on.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming. Everybody have a great weekend. I will see you guys Monday.
Let's have a great week, guys.